gross domestic product of the state, because at the end of the day, the person is going to take his product to the market. When you take your product to the market, you're going to pay some fee at the gate. The state is getting some revenue. Then they take it out of the state. As they're taking it out of the state, they pay some revenue also. As they move across, the value chain is kick-started and it keeps moving like that. That's the beauty of agriculture. You start up something, it keeps generating income for you all over. Rivers has done tremendously well in agriculture. Honestly, we were in River State. We saw the plantations that are there. And the technology we're talking about, Governor Amechi has been able to bring agriculture to a modern level. Latest equipment, latest trainings in agriculture, and the youths in Rivers are happy to be farmers. Unlike before, when they ask you, what is your father's profession? Your father is a farmer. You're even ashamed to say that he is a farmer. Southeast, Enugu, Imo. In Enugu particularly, they've increased pineapple production because they had a kind of MOU with San Carlos of Brazil, and they've already cultivated about 350 hectares of pineapple, which has greatly increased the pineapple production in the country. Then in the southwest, Lagos is perhaps the only state in the country that is presently food secured. Vegetables that are grown in the north, Governor Fashola has made sure that his people are growing all the vegetables that are found in Zamfara and in Sokoto. If Governor Fashola is to stay for another 4 years, people in Lagos will not need our onions in the north. People in Lagos will not need our tomatoes in the north. People in Lagos will not need our pepper in the north. People in Lagos will also not need our cows in the north. So the Lagos model, particularly under the Commercial Agricultural Development Program, it's something that is highly commendable. I've just been given a cue that I have less than 2 minutes, but I would just like to finish by talking about the way forward. We've seen the overview generally of all that is happening presently. I want to give my candid opinion on the way forward. The first thing that should be done is, who are the real farmers? When I say real farmers, people that are on the field presently practicing, does Nigeria has a database of all the farmers like we have of the voters? We have a voters register. Do we have a tangible farmers database? The ecological differences we talked about, the differences in rainfall, the differences in edaphic soil factors, means that the type of fertilizer to be applied in each of the zones is different. By now, we're supposed to have a comprehensive soil map so that you know that your soil is acidic, then you apply alkaline fertilizer to balance it. Or you know that your soil is alkaline, then you apply acidic fertilizer to balance it. When you apply acid to acid, you're just burning the soil. So through inaccurate and incorrect fertilizer application, we've lost so many soils in the country. Efficient water management systems. His Excellency, the President, I just saw him this morning at Katsina. He was saying that they want to establish more water systems in Katsina. The problem of Katsina State is not water. They have plenty of water in that region. The Jibia Dam in Katsina is meant to produce all the wheat requirements of the country and all the tomatoes requirements. What Katsina needs now is a post-harvest processing plant so that the tomatoes, the onions, the cabbages, the carrots that is being produced in the Jibia axis, the Bacolori Dam in Zamfara State, the Goronyo axis in Sokoto State, garlic, onion, tomatoes are being wasted. So the problem is not of water now. The problem is post-harvest. People produce and there is no market. Tomatoes are wasted, onions are wasted, even rice, they are all wasted. The last time we did the peer review of the 36 states, excellencies, distinguished guests, we did not see a single functional government-owned post-harvest processing plant in any of the 36 states. None. The access to credit, improved gender consideration. Women are performing excellently in agriculture. Go to the Jos Plateau axis. All the vegetables we're talking about, the cabbages, red bean, green peas, etc., are being produced by women. But then the hectareage is very low, less than 1 hectare in most cases, and there is no access to credit. Grazing reserves. Previously, we had grazing reserves where cat is just meant for cattle. If we can emphasize on that, the constant movement of the herdsmen across the country can be retailed. We want to say a kind of zero grazing, whereby you get a grazing reserve, you put all the necessary grasses, you get water available, and the Fulani will stay in one place. So by the time they are in one place, the productivity of the cattle is also going to increase because most of the energy is wasted in moving about. So by the time you keep them in one place, you get the grasses. We can introduce some grass species into the country, it's possible. You make water. Why are they moving about? It's because of grass and water. So if I can get the pasture available for them and get the water available to them, who wants to be moving about all over? So we want to say there should be a kind of zero grazing. Human resource development. We have to train our youths in the rudiments of agriculture. Not through the whole, no, but through modern technology. Very, very important. People are talking of greenhouse facilities. People are talking of hydroponics, whereby you can even farm without land. And in Nigeria, we are still talking about the whole. It doesn't make it very attractive. We have to emphasize on the value chains. If you're producing rice, what happens to the byproduct? It can be used for animal feed. But by the time you go to the Sokoto, Kebbi axis, where they are doing plenty of rice, the Kano axis, you find out that the husk from rice is just left. In other countries, it's a very good source of biofuel. And it's also a very good source for even cement. In Nigeria, we are wasting it. And it's the same thing for all the major crops in the country. Then we have to reorient ourselves. We have to think of some clientele outside that we can export to. A group of women in Jos Plateau are presently exporting flowers. And every year on the 14th of February, they export more than 1 million roses. Each rose sells for about $1 per day, $1 in the European nations. The last Valentine, the women in Plateau State have raked in about $1 million just from the sale of exotic flowers. It can be done in the mountain areas, Mambila, Obudu. Then, of course, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture said it should be investment-based. Agriculture should no longer be seen as a hereditary thing. Investment means you have to put in money, but then they don't have access to credit. So we want to emphasize that credit, access to credit is very important to make sure that agriculture is very viable. Commercialization, we have to think not just for our own production, but for the general good. On a final note, I want to state that so many of the governors are doing some great job agriculturally, and it's highly commendable. The truth of the matter is more has to be done. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gambo, on that. We'll wait to take the second presenter on this same subject before we now go on to discuss it. So I'll now call on Professor Victor Okora to give us his own presentation.
The chairman of the retreat, His Excellency Senator Olubukola Saraki, the chairman, the NGF, His Excellency Rotimi I'm